Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Sagittarius. If Sagittarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is the message for you. Okay, let's get started. Here we are. Let's see what these tea leaves have to say. And so the card that I pulled for this reading tonight is the Queen of Cups. And I pull a card for every reading just to kind of help give me an idea of some of maybe the themes, undertones, where we should kind of look within, the vastness of our being, the different spheres, because of course the cards kind of relate to different elements, different spheres, and different parts of self. And so this very watery card, the Queen of Cups, is water on water. So we have a very emotional, dreamy, sensitive, vulnerable, intuitive state. And so that's kind of where we're going to be looking. And I think I'm going to actually just look at this really quick. And then I'm going to start over here. This is my favorite formation. It looks like a tree, and a beautifully growing tree at that, not a little baby. This is a big one. And we have a little person kind of sitting here beneath the tree. And I really feel like you are just drawn to the knowledge right now. You are looking into yourself. You are really pondering your existence, thinking about who you are, what you are, why you are, what does it mean to be alive? All of these kinds of existential, spiritual, metaphysical, philosophical, all of the things, right? And you're feeling, I think, pretty sentimental about your journey, about the parts of yourself that feel very close to you, right? It's interesting when we kind of really look at things and we begin to get into this place in our life where we are less attached to this idea that we are fundamentally anything, any one thing. Because as we grow, as we get older, we change quite a bit. We do a lot of things in our life, right? At some point we're somebody's child, friend, sibling maybe, and then you become a student. Maybe you get married, you become a spouse. Maybe you have your own children. Maybe you have, close relationships with animals. You're a caretaker. You are, a partner. And so throughout life, we become and we unbecome, and, we hold an idea tight, and then it loosens with time. And though there are still those strands, those threads that run through us, they kind of fall away a bit. But it's interesting to go back and kind of look at these things, to feel them deeply. And hopefully, we can feel even where it is painful, even where there are anxieties, where there have been hurts and traumas, and but also great joys and success and luck and, hard work. All these things, kind of combing through them, swimming in them a bit. We'll stick with that water theme, right? And so I think you've really been in this place, and not only has this been a time of great introspection, but also I feel that your intuitive nature is really going off lately. I think this is very much connected to this work that you are doing. Whatever has shifted in your life, you are not looking outward so much right now. You're not worried about, the current affairs. You're not worried about, the news cycles or, the tedium. Of course, you are going about your business, but you're also spending a lot of time looking, traveling in. And so I believe that there have been some dreams, okay? And I look at this figure here. It looks like kind of some kind of being with its head close to this one, head to head. And so I feel almost like if you have ever seen, and we'll turn it this way, if you have ever seen, they are images. They have like diagrams and these old lithographs of people who are astral projecting or going out of body. And some people would say this is like an out-of-body experience. This is meditation. This is leaving your consciousness is leaving your body, going into the astral realm or the dream realm, whatever you call it, however you experience it yourself. So there is the physical body, and then there is the astral body, the light body, whatever it is. It's basically the embodiment of some kind of consciousness, okay, related to you individually. And so I believe that you have been having some very powerful dreams, and often maybe dreaming and recalling every night. Of course, you're probably dreaming every night, but there are a lot of times that we just kind of don't remember, or, they're not necessarily so intense or powerful that we bring them back with us. So I think that this current cycle of dream work that is happening has been just really wild for you. It seems very powerful. I think you feel very attached to it. I hope that you're writing some of it down, taking notes, drawing pictures, whatever it is that you like to do. Keep track of these things, because down the road, it might be important to come back and look at them just to figure out some of the patterns, the themes, things that we inevitably miss about our self-work. Okay. Also, just the habit of writing our dreams out, or, literally, you could just write down keywords, sensations, smells, colors, one words. It doesn't have to be sentences. It doesn't have to be coherent. But this practice helps us recall our dreams more easily. So that we can bring them back over. This is kind of a thing that is very much employed in lucid dreaming, when you're learning to lucid dream. And I'm not really talking about that, although you may be a lucid dreamer. Some people, even without any kind of self-training, have lucid dreams just in the odd chance. They become aware within the dream that they are dreaming, and they have some control over their movements. And, if you're interested in lucid dreaming, I think that, this is a very valuable tool, especially if you are doing any kind of magical work, occult work, or self-work. If you think about it, we spend a lot of time sleeping in our lifetime, and it seems silly to kind of squander some of that very potent, imaginative space that we get to kind of so luckily go in and, play around with. So I think that, these kinds of tools, these kinds of techniques definitely can be beneficial. All right, so I am seeing this large, it looks like kind of a dragon, and it looks like it's kind of laying this person over here to waste. It looks like they're falling back. So I think through some of this work, some of this self-reflection, there have been periods of kind of some aggressive feelings coming up, maybe some, things that you usually don't like to really sit in. You don't necessarily like to be a very reactionary person. You don't like to raise your voice. You don't want to fight with people. You're not confrontational. You don't like to blow up, or cuss somebody or anything like that. But at some point, some of that kind of stuff that we hold in us, even if we are trying to be polite, trying to be thoughtful of others, trying to keep ourselves from, flying off the handle, that stuff kind of, I like to picture it as a black egg inside of my body. And a lot of those terrible things and those painful feelings and those, just the anguish, the rage, that kind of bruise, if you can imagine, swirling around in this kind of black oval, that's kind of at the core of my being. If I do not take care of that in some productive way, find a safe outlet for it, it will arise, and it will just, it will take down the people around me emotionally. I will become, short-tempered, annoyed, raise my voice, these kinds of things. Say things that I probably wouldn't otherwise, be mean, hurt somebody's feelings, these kinds of things. And so I think that while you are going through some of this processing, some of this exploration, some of this, reacquainting of self, you are running into some things that are very emotional. And in that emotionality, these feelings can come up more easily, right? It's like we become kind of like raw and a little less in control, a little less tempered. And so I feel like maybe finding something that will be, easier for you to kind of open that little valve a little bit, let some of that steam out. One thing I like to talk about sometimes on these readings is I'm a big fan of primal screaming, going outside or wherever, as far away as you can from people so they don't think you're hurt, but just going out and screaming it out, from your very core, from the base of your body, letting that energy rise up and into your stomach, into your chest, out your throat, and into the universe. Just let it spew out, I also like to envision just like streams of black murkiness coming out of my mouth. Just let it go, get out of me, some kind of inky mess to to expel from myself. And you know, it's often hard to be mad when you do something like that, when you really let it out, let it rip, right? After that, you know, you're almost very like tired, want to take a little nap and need a cup of tea, something, you know, just to relax and, you know, readjust, come back down to earth a bit. Okay, and I like this one so much. It looks like a little spider wearing a cap. And this reminds me of, and I will not say the name, but I know that it is a deity. It's a spider Nancy. It's a trickster god. And I'm not even going to say the name. It's embarrassing that I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't know how to pronounce a lot of things, but if you've watched my videos, you've seen, I say from the get-go, I've never been good with, I know a lot of words, I know what they mean, I know the, you know, the concepts and ideas. I do not know how to say things, and I think it's just self-learning. You know, I didn't go to college, and I didn't really even, I mean, I did go to college for a while, but nothing, not studying any kind of, you know, English or other, it was for the arts. So anyways, a bit of a trickster, right? And this is a deity that came over during the African diaspora, the kidnapping and enslavement of Western African tribes. And this is, I came to know this deity from American Gods when I read the book, and then again really was into the TV show. And so I love this, the energy of this beautiful, beautiful deity that's so protective and sharp, and there is a deep kind of cunning to this intelligence. And this is something that a lot of trickster deities have, and we really have a tendency to reject these qualities within ourselves. We have a tendency in pop psychology now to kind of attribute some of these things to just narcissism and or psychopathy. And you know, I mean, that could be true to some degree, but to make it through life, we all have things that we learn to do to kind of get through, to fib a little, do a little lie here, do a little lie there, finesse this, finesse that. And, you know, hopefully we're not hurting other people, of course. But for the purpose of what this reading is about, I really do believe that this is an opening for you to look at some of the more, what we would consider probably shadow aspects of your personality, but in a way that is empathetic, open, and loving. In the Jung system of shadow work, there's this idea that we do not reject and we do not dispel these aspects of self. We don't condemn them. We integrate them. We get to know them. We love them and raise them as we would a child, right? And we try to understand, why is this something that we think that we have needed to do? Why can't we just be who we are? Why can't we just say no instead of making up an excuse? Why do we feel that we need to serve other people's agendas, egos, whatever? Okay, and these are just examples. So looking at these things with love and understanding, looking for the roots of them. Why do we have a bit of the trickster in us? Why do we do things to get ahead, to survive? It's written into us, isn't it? And so if it has become problematic in some way, if you just push it out of yourself or, attempt to, it only grows. It only grows like a mold, right? But if we bring it into the light and we look at it and we love it, we give it the empathy that it deserves, we try to understand it, then we can use that energy for a productive purpose that is not predatory or hurtful or anything like this. And this is, I think, is so much with these deities like Sister Nancy. I'm sorry, that's a raising. The deity Nancy, trickster, any of the tricksters, Pan, I'm I'm having trouble thinking of, there's a lot, the coyote, all these kinds of tricksters, right? A little bit wicked, but all about protecting what? What are they protecting? What are they serving? What are they there for? It's interesting. We have to think about these things. And so when we see something like this, I think it's so important to really, really look, ask, appeal, make appeals. Ask for this to be gone over in your dreams. Go to sleep wanting to dream about this. It will be helpful, I promise you. There will be answers. All right. Let's see. What else do we have here? Okay. So this one looks like... kind of a, what are they, like a griffin or a sphinx, okay? And then we have this long, and it looks like the sound coming out. This reminds me of some kind of medieval tapestry where the long sound, like there's a scroll and it represents, some kind of utterance or song or, something. And so I think that this is very much about that kind of guardian at the threshold of entering the self, right? The beginning initiation, unlocking the riddle. What is the key? What is the key that's going to get you in there? Well, I think that, you're really already on your way. And I think with all of this introspection, these reflections, I think that, using those dream spaces is going to be so key for you. Okay? And, the big thing here too, taking care of yourself while you're doing this work. Don't get lost in it. Okay? Abide your routines, drink plenty of water, move your body, whatever level you can do that at, intentional movement, do, some puzzles, reading, whatever you have time for, keep yourself, grounded, go to water. Water seems to be a big theme here. Maybe taking baths, showering, doing cleansing rituals with water, making sure your sleep cycles are well, and, just all the things that you do that help keep your life together, right? We need to keep our mind, body, and spirit healthy as we do this work. So, it's important to definitely keep those mental spaces as organized as we can and keep our physical world moving in a way that seems to be beneficial to you. Okay? All right, so I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me, for allowing me to bring these messages to you. It's always such an honor. If you'd be so kind as to like the video, it helps us get into the algorithm, and that is helping us reach more and more people. If you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing so. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos come out. And if you'd like to leave a comment, I read them all.